When has a salesman talked himself right out of a sale to you? They told me that their intent was to provide me with a sense of pride and accomplishment. Car salesman told me if I bought a different brand of car I'd better get good insurance because I'm gonna die. I think this needs some explanation. I was at the VW dealership, and I told him I was also thinking of looking at Hyundai. Salesman told me to think twice because if I get a Hyundai I'd better also get good insurance because I'm gonna kill myself or die in that car. I got a new salesman. I still got a VW. That's just a weird way of putting your competition down. It was awkward, but he realized it was awkward too, claimed he had a new customer appointment, and I got a new salesman in like 3 minutes. Oop, fuck this one up. Better get out of here. Representatives from Cox called and woke me up trying to get me to add a cable package onto my already existing internet package. I told them that if I get woken up a third time by a sales call I will cancel all of my services and switch providers entirely. That was the end of those sales calls. A guy at Micro Center told me that Intel hasn't been relevant since 2008. Yeah, I had a laptop with a cracked screen. Hadn't dealt with it before, and my very cursory look online came up blank, though I did find a Micro Center nearby. It was a laptop from a small brand, Velocity Micro. I bring the laptop to them and ask to fix the screen. They say, sure, here is the standard price for screen replacement. 2 weeks go by, and I hear nothing. I call, and they say they'll get to it in a few days. Get a call a week later saying they cannot replace the screen as no one has this type of screen. Only good part was they didn't charge me anything. So I get home, go more in depth in the interwebs. 2 hours later, I found my screen and ordered it. It arrived 3 days later, and it took me an hour of work to fix. Never went back to Micro Center, and never will. Edit. There is one clarification I would make. I specifically asked about finding it online, and was told that it wasn't there. The screen was discontinued / did not exist. If I had been told the supplier thing, I would have been far less annoyed. Not me, but my parents. My mom and dad were meeting with a sales guy who worked for a pool company when they were looking to get a pool built. He was a standard sales guy, and at one point tried to mention some add-on or something. My mom started to interject, and the sales guy was basically like, "Oh, don't worry, why don't your husband and I talk about the money details?" He said a few other things along those lines, and was overly condescending the whole, "How about you sit tight while the men talk business?" sort of mentality. My mom looked at the guy for a second, then to my dad, then stood up and said, "You know what, I think we're done here." As she and my dad stood up to leave, the sales guy apparently kind of stammered, then smirked, looked at my dad, and said, "Oh come on, haha, okay let's continue," thinking it was some joke. My dad responded, "Nope, you heard my wife. We're out of here," and that was that. That sort of happened to my mom once. She went to go buy a new car and apparently one of the salesmen asked her where her husband was. She turned around and went somewhere else. As a female, I also had way more trouble with negotiating prices for my own car than my male cousins. So annoying. I've posted this before. A car salesman told me the van I was looking to buy had brand new brakes and tires. Pick something less obvious to lie about. I just went back to the van, checked, and sure enough the tires were almost bald and the rotors were grooved to the touch. He got his manager involved and now they're trying to convince me that the work was done. Like how? But I'm apparently an idiot. They didn't say that, but they knew I caught them in a lie. So I just left. This experience was the last straw that convinced me to buy a brand new car instead. He asked to speak to my husband instead of me as he would never let his wife handle such a big financial decision. Did that go as well as I think it did? Worse. We felt really talked into the whole thing, and when he finally was lining up the paperwork, he high-fived his manager. We walked away. You can always tell when you are getting fucked by the salesman. If he's really happy about you buying the car, and he says something like, "Congratulations, you are a lucky guy/girl. This car is awesome," and then pats you on the back, that means he's getting a fat commission. If he's laid back and somber and gives a simple handshake with a half smile, you got a good deal. The guy I bought my car from got angry. I followed some advice I found here on Reddit when buying cars, drove it hard and fast during the test drive, and paid for it all in cash. Salesman was pissed off during the test drive, then somber and bored during the paperwork. He started hitting on my wife thinking the minivan was for her. Yes, so the rear seat folds all the way back to become a bed. What a fool. He should have been hitting on you the whole time. You can have lots of gay sex back here, maybe even with the guy who'll sell it to ya. Wink. As a 24-year-old jewelry sales consultant, I am always afraid that a guy will think I'm hitting on his fiancée. I try to look at both people equally with the same amount of interest on my face. Honey, do you think that jewelry store person was bisexual? I went with my wife to buy a car. The salesman said that another couple were also looking to buy it, but he would prefer us to have it because they were homosexuals. He even said homosexuals in that stereotypical gay voice and went limp wrist. I hope those guys are happy with their car. I hope those guys bought a car somewhere else. As a realtor, if I so much as thought about saying shit like that, I'd lose my license. Discrimination isn't cool. I was at a furniture store looking for a new dresser. I found one for a reasonable price and might have come back after doing some more shopping around, if the salesman hadn't tried to upsell a couch despite me saying repeatedly that we do not need a couch. That's why I like IKEA, it's cold and impersonal. Should be Sweden's national motto. In a lingerie store I made a joke about planning on not having kids so that I could afford more pretty things. Saleswoman proceeded to berate me for denying my biological purpose. I left pretty damn quickly. Edit, I was 17 at the time. Went to a Honda dealership to look at a Civic, and the sales dude told me they didn't have any in stock somehow. He showed me an Accord, which was nice and all, but I was looking for something cheaper and with better MPG. He tried to convince me to buy it by saying it was heavier, which meant it was more reliable. I laughed at him and left. What kind of shitty Honda dealer doesn't have a Civic on their lot? Went to buy a suit for some job interviews. Was settled on the suit, and they suggested some shirts and ties to pair with it. I didn't like any of them really and was going to buy the suit and get shirts somewhere else. They started going on how if I didn't get a shirt there I wouldn't get the job. I left. Men's Warehouse since a lot of people are asking. My dad and I were out shopping for my first car. Me being 16 and stupid, I found a used Challenger that I wanted desperately. And to my immense surprise, my dad agreed to co-sign for me. As my dad and I were negotiating the price of the car and what things the dealership could add to sweeten the deal, the salesman implies that my father's 16-year-old daughter was his other woman, and that my 42-year-old father was going through a midlife crisis. My father turned white and then the same beautiful cherry red of the Challenger. And needless to say, I did not get that car. Instead of getting a cool car that I would have inevitably gotten a surplus number of speeding tickets with, I bought my aunt's '99 Ford Explorer. After replacing parts of the AC system, it runs like a champ. I love that SUV. That's such an egregiously inappropriate assumption. What a jackass move. Was out for a pint with my dad a few years ago. I would have been maybe 19, he was in his 60s, and got asked how long we'd been together. Since birth? A door-to-door vacuum cleaner salesman dumped a load on our carpet for demonstration purposes. The machine quit while trying to suck it up. He left, and we had to clean up his mess. No sale. Was buying a laptop for university, and I was looking at what was available in Future Shop, and the salesman came over and started completely bullshitting me. Maybe he thought because I was a girl I didn't know what computer parts mean. Maybe he was genuinely stupid. But I ended up buying a computer elsewhere as that guy got on my nerves. 100%. From what I've observed, sales team members at electronics stores aren't knowledgeable at all in regards to specifications. They mainly hope people don't know shit about it, which many don't. We showed up in Outbroke Ass Clothes looking at refrigerators. The one we looked at didn't have a tag, so the salesman said he'd look it up. He never returns, we go looking. He's helping an attractive couple with clothes they didn't sniff that morning. Well, we get another salesman. He says it's $999, our limit was $1,200 and ordered it. We even got 3 replacement water filters for the price of 2. He got the $50 commission. Other guy probably didn't get his sale. Classic sales trick. They got you to buy a fridge out of spite. Can't tell if you're joking or not, but can confirm that spite is indeed used as a sales tactic. Salesman. Are your parents home? Me, I'm sorry? Salesman. Your parents. The homeowners. Are they home? Me. I am the homeowner. Salesman. You. You're so young. Me. Get off my porch. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.